Okay, let's have a look around Notebook LM. First, we can see our sources on the left here. Click the Add button, and we can choose what sort of sources to add. We can upload some sources, we can use Google Files, we can use MP3s, or we can use copy text or YouTube. So that will upload to the left-hand side. In the center here is where we can create resources and ask questions. So I'm going to ask a question that's only going to look at those left-hand side resources. So what are some strategies for teaching ADHD students? So I'm going to ask this question and it's only going to look at those resources I've uploaded on the left-hand side. So the notebook now is having a look at those resources and coming back with some information. When it comes back with the information, you'll see there's a whole lot of links inside that information to where you'll find that information on the left-hand side in the source documents. So we can scroll down, read through this information, and if we like that information, we can save it as a note. So once we get to the end, you'll see there is a Save to Note button. Click that, and it will go over to the right-hand side, which is where our sources are. So there's a new source right there that we have created. Then we can go up here and generate a deep dive conversation or one of those podcast conversations. So we scroll back to the top there. We can also create a mind map of the information that's over on the left-hand side from our sources. And that will appear at the top as well. Now, there is one down here I've already created, so let's have a look at what that looks like. So we're looking at ADHD. It breaks it down into the first topics. Let's open up the strategies. And then I want to focus specifically on years 9 to 13. And I want to have a look at how we can support planning and thinking. We click that, it takes us back to the central panel, and it will create us a note about that aspect of the mind map. And again, we can save that as a note, and it will appear on the right. There it is. Now let's check back on that's what our note looks like. We can check out that looks. And if we're happy, we can also convert that into a source. So that will appear on the left-hand side. So if we look back in the center here, we can also go to the right. We can create different types of documents, briefing documents, study guides, FAQs, and timelines. They'll automatically create from our left-hand side resources. Now let's see what that
Okay,
podcast
let's
sounds
unpack
like.
this. Thanks for sending over these sources. We've got insights from inclusive education and this guide, ADHD, teaching and managing students with.
Mhm.
You asked us to really dive deep into these specific documents, right? To pull out the most important stuff about supporting students with additional
We can
insights.
jump forward.
How to effectively support these students, we need to look at the strategies they suggest for learning, for behavior, for...
So that's a look around Notebook LM. We can go to the settings, and we can also choose the output language for our voiceover, for our podcast or our deep dive. English resources go in, and you can choose the language that the podcast will come out in by changing the language here. So that's Notebook LM.